Yo guys, what is going on? Insanity coming back at you today with another Division 2 video, and I know it seems like it's been forever, but yes, the Division 2 is still on its way. We have that private beta, we got the pre-order beta, the public beta, the private beta, this beta, that beta, and then the full launch over on March 15th, 2019. We have a long way to go, but yet we are still grinding shields in the original game, and people are still playing survival and getting anything and everything they can, commendation score, and all that stuff leading up to the Division 2. So with that being said, we finally got some brand new information to go ahead and talk a little bit about. It is September 27th, 2018, and let's just go ahead and dive right into the news here. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about the start of a blog that the developers posted today, and it's called The Intelligence Annex, Weapons in the Division 2. So this is actually going to be talking a little bit about the main weapons, the sidearms, exotics, grenades, mods, and weapon talents that are going to be available to us over in the Division 2, and how things are going to be changing a little bit from the first game. And some people may like it, some people may not, but overall I'm just going to go ahead and go through this blog with you guys to try and give you a full rundown. While I thought about trying to maybe separate each one of these little sections out into multiple videos, but I'm like, nah, let's just go ahead and have one nice full rounded out video so you guys have something really cool to try and listen to or watch wherever you are. So let's just go ahead and start this thing out. Main weapons and sidearms. In the Division 2, we have reworked weapon handling from scratch to deliver a more realistic experience and more interesting gameplay. The recoil system is all new, and every weapon will feel unique and behave in its own way. Secondly, we've added another weapon category, rifles. This means that the Division 2 we will have assault rifles, marksman rifles, submachine guns, shotguns, light machine guns, pistols, and the all-new rifles. So that's actually pretty darn interesting, and as you can see here in this picture, this kind of showcases the little bit of a setup of what you can come to see from the inventory screen. We've seen this in all of the other E3 builds and what they showcased at PAX and maybe Gamescom. You know, everybody got to showcase footage if they were able to capture it or put it on live streams, whatever they were doing at that time. We've seen this, and it's kind of been the same demo being over by the Capitol building in Washington, D.C., taking on that dude over by the crashed down Air Force One. It's been the same demo over and over and over. So hopefully we're going to get some new footage soon, but we'll have to see. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about these new rifles and this new category that we're going to have. So rifles will be an all new category and will include all semi-automatic and burst rifle weapons. There are several reasons that we decided to introduce this category. One main being is balancing the perks. In the Division, the many different rifles are grouped into two categories, the assault rifle or marksman rifle category. In the Division 2, we decided to add a third category for these weapons. This will allow us to create specific or relevant bonuses for semi-auto and burst rifle weapons, as well as other weapons. Our ambitions with these changes is to have a great variety of equally viable weapons in the game so that you will have a wider range of weapons to play with. Alright, so I mean, I guess that's fair. I mean, everyone kind of did indeed decide to try and either have to pick a rifle or this or that, and then maybe have a submachine gun. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. It's going to be really unique to see what type of perks and talents and things like that are going to be very specific to burst or even single shot rifles compared to what might be on something like an assault rifle, like a lightweight M4 or whatever, depending on what weapon goes into which category. So, yeah. Next on the list, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the exotics. I mean, you know, everybody loves their exotics. I mean, hey, are you still hunting for a house? Be sure to go ahead and sign off in the comments down below if you already have a house in the Division 1, or if you got 50 of them, hey, go ahead and, you know, brag a little bit. So, the exotics. For the Division 2, we knew we wanted exotic weapons to be even more exciting, and we have to put a little effort into each and every exotic weapon for the Division 2. From an art perspective, the exotic weapons will stand out a lot more in the sequel. Each weapon will have its own unique look and be clearly distinguishable. Every visual element of the weapons will tell a bit of the story and the theme of the weapon, all connected to the lore. Each exotic weapon will have its... Oh my god, I'm losing my mind reading this right now. Hold on. Connected to the lore. Wait a minute. Are we going full Destiny right now with the idea of having lore on weapons and stuff? Hold on. Okay. Whew. My brain just completely lost it. So let me go ahead and just read this one more time. Every visual element of the weapons will tell a little bit of the story and theme of the weapon, all connected to the lore. Each exotic weapon will have its place in the world. So rather it be mission related, enemy related, faction related, whatever it could be. Oh man, I'm excited about this. I hope they add a ton of more lore for us to really dig deep into the story and to see what's going on there. Now, next, we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about the grenades. Yes, we know grenades have taken a little bit of an overhaul here in the Division 2, and they did mention this during the E3 demo. You're only going to be allowed to have one grenade equipped at a time, which is something completely different compared to what we have now with the wheel selection in the Division 1. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this. In the Division, there are 6 different kinds of grenades available, and everyone can use them as you feel. For the Division 2, we decided to go in a different direction regarding grenades. This time around, your grenades will be connected to your specialization, which aren't unlocked until level 30. During levels 1 to 29, the concussion grenade will be the only one available to you. Oh man, so you only get one grenade the entire time until you hit the end game? That's nuts. At level 30, there will be 3 additional type of grenades, each tied to a specialization. Flashbang grenade for the sharpshooter, incendiary grenade for the demolitionist, and frag grenade for the survivalist. When you switch specialization, you can also switch grenade type, which means you will never have, for example, a flashbang and an incendiary grenade at the same time. However, the concussion grenade will always be available no matter what specialization you use. Alright, so it looks like we're going to be very, very specific on what type of grenades you're going to be able to use depending on the specialization that you have. So depending on the teammates you're playing with, you really want to try and have a nice diverse amount of grenades to take on the different enemy types. So yeah, that's something new. One of the biggest things that I'm looking forward to is the mods in the Division 2, and mods I know can take in a huge big time overhaul in this game, and I think it's for the better. It's gonna leave a lot more variety. It's gonna make things a little bit more crazy, because depending on how you want to play, you're not going to be able to use the mod that you want to use, and I'm going to get into that right now. So basically, the way the mod system works now is whenever you're playing through the game, you're going to unlock a mod. That mod becomes completely unlocked from that point forward. So if you want to use that mod on 5 different guns, you can do that. You don't have to go pick up 5 mods in the open world like you do right now in the Division 1. So that's actually really exciting. That's going to save a lot of space in your inventory, and you're not going to be picking up useless crap from the actual open world, which is wonderful. Now, those of you who like to dismantle things and get materials or sell stuff to get credits, you might not like that, but hey, pick your battles, right? So, in the sequel, mods will be unlocked and not looted. The reason for this change is that some mods were seen as must-have upgrades on all weapons, which leads to the modding experience to become less interesting. It also made reloading less important due to the inflated magazine sizes, and weapon handling less dynamic because of the high holding numbers on the mods. For the Division 2, we will change the mod system so that modding the weapon will be about customizing its feel and to use to fit your playstyle, rather than it be mandatory upgrades. So overall, I would definitely have to say the more you change the weapon and the more that you try and make it towards your playstyle, it's going to have a set of mods on there that are going to be completely different to the person next to you, and that's going to make things a lot more interesting, especially in PvP. Once a mod is unlocked, it will always be unlocked, and it can be used on as many weapons as you want simultaneously. However, not every mod will fit on every weapon. Different weapons have a different caliber, and of course, the same goes for the muzzle, attachments, and magazines. So, just like in the other game before, you're not going to be able to flip-flop back and forth on certain magazines and barrels and so on, depending on what the gun is. So, yeah. Unlike the first game, mods will have set stats this time around, and they will be the same for everyone. However, in addition to positive stats, there will also be negative ones. For example, an extended magazine will give you more rounds, but it will also give you lower reload speed because it's bigger and heavier. The purpose of this is to be able to have an unlock system where you choose mods based on your personal preference while still keeping it balanced. So Like I said, it's going to be really interesting to see all the plus and minuses on every single mod and what you decide to go ahead and put on your guns to try and have that playstyle that fits you. It's going to be really, really interesting. Since all the mods have a negative effects, you will have to evaluate whether a certain stat is valuable enough to trade off with the negative stat. For example, if you have a weapon that you like, but it kicks too much for your taste, perhaps you can sacrifice a little bit of accuracy or range to make the handling more comfortable for you. See, it's all going to work out in the end. There's going to be pluses and minuses that are going to work together to try and make sure that you have the right combination for your playstyle. Now, last and most certainly not least, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about weapon talents. This is a big one. I mean, we all know that weapon talents, a few of them were broken in the first game. Things had to be changed and so on. So how are they going to be making it a little bit different in the Division 2? Let's talk about that now. In the Division 2, the talent system will be completely reworked and you will have all new talents. In the first game, weapon talents have two types of requirements, a minimum amount of main stats and some kind of action to activate the talent. For the sequel, we have reworked the requirement system to make the creation of builds more interesting and creative. For the Division 2, we want talents to play a bigger role in your builds and to make assemblage of a build more fun. Therefore, requirements for a talent will be able to be pretty much anything. For example, having a gear piece with a particular brand, a certain attribute, or having a specific weapon type equipped. The only restriction is that each talent will have a gameplay theme and the weapons requirements will be connected to that theme. This will give you a greater understanding of how a talent will be used, whether it fits your playstyle or not. Another new feature is the augmented reality tracker that will sit on the side of your guns when you scope in. It's a real-time tracker for your weapons talent and will show different things depending on what your talent will have equipped. For example, it can light up when you have the talent activated, or it can help you count down the shots left until the talent activates. The purpose of this is to really make it easier for you to understand when your talents are going to be activated or when it's going to be the most efficient time to try and make sure that that talent is activated. Even though the talents and the features are somewhat already being showcased in gameplay footage and stuff like that at this time, there's no guarantee that everything that we're seeing at this point is going to be 100% included in either the beta, at launch, or even later. I mean, everything is still a work in progress, guys, and we just kind of have to see where things go. And based on more than likely a bunch of beta feedback, a lot of this stuff can change. Stats on mods can change. The way freaking weapon talents, all of that can all be adjusted on the fly. No different than what's already happened over in the first game 3 years later. Anyways, guys, this was the first kind of dev blog that was really trying to focus a little bit more information on some of the stuff that was focused in the Division 2, and hopefully we get some more information soon alongside maybe a new trailer or actual gameplay of something new, maybe a new faction. We'll have to wait and see. If you're still hyped and pumped up for the Division 2, guys, be sure to go ahead and drop a like on this video. Sign off in the comments down below. Do you like what you hear? Do you hate what you hear? Are you excited for more? Sign off in the comments, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.